Hello guys, welcome to this lecture. In this video, we will be looking into the naming convention of variables in Java, and also we will be starting with the very first primitive data type called as integer. Okay, fine guys. So coming to the naming convention of variable. Okay, so coming to the naming convention. Okay, naming convention of variables in Java. Okay, so coming to this concept, actually the convention naming convention is very simple out here. The very first thing is that variables here in Java can start. Okay, variables can start with characters, that is alphabets. It can start with alphabets, either lowercase alphabets or uppercase alphabets, and it can also start with underscore, or otherwise it can also start with dollar sign. So these are the three allowed characters, that is either alphabets A to Z, either lowercase or uppercase. Otherwise your variable name can start with underscore, or otherwise it can also start with dollar sign. And there should be no spaces, either the variable should not start with spaces. In between also there should be no spaces. Ending also there should be no space. Ending, if you have spaces, it is different. Okay, just let us leave it, but there should be no spaces in the variable naming. Okay, then you can have any other characters, numbers, special characters, anything that you wanted in between. Okay, so fine. So now one more important thing that I wanted to tell you is that I'm just telling that it can start with alphabets, it can also start with underscore, dollar. I think these are all allowed one, but coming to the best practice, okay, coming to the best practice, we definitely will not appreciate starting a variable with a dollar and underscore. Always try to start it with the alphabet, for the best the best way of writing the code. I'm just telling that that's the best approach of doing it. And also there is something called as camel case. Okay, camel case is like, for example, if your variable name is my first number, how many words are there in my first number? My is a separate word, first is a separate word, and number is a separate word. So coming to the first word, in the first word everything have to be in lowercase. Coming to the second word, first character have to be in uppercase, remaining all the characters have to be in lowercase. So first f in f in uppercase, then comes the remaining characters in lowercase. So my first, then the subsequent how many words you are going to place, every word's first character is going to be a uppercase character followed by lowercase characters, remaining words. Okay, so if you have multiple words in the variable name, first word will be completely lowercase. Starting from the second word, all the subsequent words starting character is going to be uppercase characters. Okay, so these are all the naming. This is the best way of naming a variable. Okay, so usually all the developers of Java who are currently working in big industries, every people, the best approach of naming a variable is actually camel case. People always prefer camel case. Okay, there are also different kinds of format of writing the naming for naming a variable, but this seems to this is still this is said to be a very this is said to be a best approach here. Okay, so always use camel case as your way of writing a variable name. And also don't use underscore and dollar. Maximum just avoid using underscore and dollar. Okay, start it with the alphabet, and almost use alphabets and numbers alone. Okay, for the best practice. Okay, fine. So now let us just start with the very first data type called as integers. Okay, so already we have taken one example integer variable called as my first number. Okay, and we have initialized that with 12 actually. But now what I am going to simply do is that we are going to take one more integer variable, which is going to be the name that I'm going to keep for it is going to be my min, okay, integer int value. Okay, so camel case, in camel case I have mentioned the name of the variable, and in this I'm going to store the minimum integer value that can be stored in this variable. Okay, right? So what is the minimum value that can be stored here in Java programming, that can be obtained by with the help of the class name called as integer? So what have been done is, they have written they have predefinedly written some classes in Java, and one predefined class is what called as integer class, and inside this integer class there is a variable called as min value. Okay, so there is a variable called as min underscore value. So what we are going to do is, there is two variables called as min underscore value and max underscore value. So how to access that variable which is inside your integer class? So first of all, you have to specify the class name, that is integer, then followed by a dot operator, and you have to be giving all the function. So you can able to see here the, I mean, either if you want to call any function inside that class, you can call it function, or otherwise if I want to get the value of the variable inside the class, then you can directly get. So the two variable names you can just see here, one is min underscore value, yes, fine. One more variable that I will take, and that variable is going to be my max int value. This is the next variable name, which is equal to integer dot max underscore value. So it is going to be m 1 days. Okay, so then one more variable is going to be max value. Okay, so both this value we have assigned it to my int value. So now what we will do is, using your, I think we can probably just take out this number called as 12 actually. Okay, so I'll just take it from the code. So now what I'm going to do is, in the system.out.print, we are going to print those values. So what we are going to print is, we're going to print the minimum value. Okay, the minimum value of the integer. Okay, the minimum value of the integer is, okay, then along with this statement I have to combine the answer, that is this answer I have to combine. So you can probably use a concatenation operator called as plus, and then I can probably mention the name of my variable along with it. So what is the variable that I'm going to print now? My min int value. Okay, you might ask me how to concatenate a string with a integer. This is inbuilt, is happening in the Java. So you are able to do this concatenation automatically between a different data types also here. Okay, so this we will just discuss about this briefly later, but now we can just simply copy the same line again for for this for the printing the maximum integer value actually. Okay, fine. So see here, so we are going to just print the maximum. Okay, we are going to just print maximum value of the integer, and the variable name is going to be my max int value. Okay, so we can just probably save this file, and we can just probably go for execution. Okay, we'll just run this document and we will just find whether all the values, that is a minimum integer value and maximum integer value, is perfect here. Okay, so I think we need to be printing a new line character actually. So for new line character, we need not to explicitly provide new line character. There is no necessity. There is two different function called as print, and as well as there is one more function called as print ln. So we can use directly print ln, which will automatically print a new line character. So when you use print, it will not print a new line character, but when you use print ln, automatically at the end of the printing statement, it will, by default, it will provide a new line character. Okay, so let me save this document again. Now let me go for the for the execution actually, right? So you're able to see that the minimum value of integer is -2147483648, and the maximum value of the integer is 21474833647. Okay, so with the help of the with the help of this, we're able to easily analyze and tell you that integer is going to take 4 bytes, that is equal to 32 bits actually, because 2 power 32 only, it is equal to, you will be getting such a range actually. Okay, so this is going to be the byte, the total number of memory that is going to be allocated for a integer variable, okay, is going to be 4 bytes. So integer takes 4 bytes. So whereas 1 byte is equal to 8 bits, so 4 byte is equal to 32 bits. Okay, fine. Okay, so now you have taken an integer data type and you have also understood the minimum value and the maximum value of the integer data type in Java programming. And with the help of the range, okay, with the help of the range, we also have found that this is going to be 2 power, this is going to be the memory is going to be 4 byte, each is equal to 32 bit, because 32 bit, using 32 bit, what is the largest the number that can be actually represented? 2 power 32. With 32 bits, you will be able to represent the number called as 2 power 32. Okay, so what is 2 power 32 here? 2 power 32 is 2 times this value that you are having here. 2 times 2 multiplied by 21474833648. So what you have on the negative side, you have 21474833648. On the positive side, from 0 to 21474833647, which is also on the positive side also, you have 21474833648 only you are having on the positive side also, because including 0. So what is 2 power 32? 2 power 32 is equal to, see, we can just probably take a calculator and I can just probably give you the exact answer. I can just display you the calculation mechanism also. Okay, so let me just search for calculator. Okay, so coming here, it's going to be 2 power, sorry, it's not square root, right? Okay, fine. One minute, guys. Okay, so this is going to be for example 2 thing is there, yeah, here it's 2 power 32, which is equal to 4294967,296. Just let us divide this number by 2. Okay, we will just divide this number by 2 and let us just see. We are getting 21474833648. I think this is the maximum value that we are having here. Okay, now I think so you will be you can understand it better, that is why, what is the reason that I am just stating that here the total memory that is going to be occupied is going to be 4 bytes. Okay, 4 bytes equal to 32 bits. So the maximum range is going to be 2 power 32. Right, fine. Right, so then we are going to learn something about overflow, because we know very well that the maximum value that you will be able to store in this particular variable is 21474833647. But you can have a question, you will have a question, whether if I try to store a value which is more than this number, then what will happen? So let us just try to see it. Okay, so let me add 1 to that maximum value. because if I'm adding 1 to the maximum value, that value will not be able to be, it cannot be stored in this variable. So let us check what is going to be stored in the variable. Okay, so let me save this document. Okay, let me save this Java program. Okay, and let me just we will just run this and we will just check the output. Okay, fine, 1 minute. Okay, I'm just executing it. Okay, you are able to see here what is the maximum value being printed here. The maximum value is now negative 214748368. So what is happening here? That is what we are going to just try and try to see here actually. So we are going to just add 2 to this number. Okay, instead of adding 1, we are going to try to add 2 to this number and we will check what is going to be the output. Okay, fine. You're able to see it is minus 21474836447. Last time it was 48, now it is 47. Let me try to add 3 here. Okay, initially it was 48. Now when I was adding 1 it was 48. When I'm adding 2 it was 47. Now I'm adding 3. Let us check what it is going to print. It is printing 46. So clearly, do you able to see that whenever you are reaching the maximum value, that is your lower limit is minus 214748368. Your maximum limit is 21474836847. And if you're trying to exceed the large limit, again you fall back to the lower limit actually. Okay, let me make it very clear. When you exceed the maximum value, then again you fall back to the minimum range. So when you try to exceed more than that is 21474836847, when you try to exceed that number, you again fall back to negative 214748368. then you form a cycle. The same thing will happen for your negative value. If you try to subtract, okay, if you try to subtract, for example 3, okay, let me subtract only 1. If I'm trying to subtract 1 from the minimum range, that value will not be able to be stored here, because the minimum range is itself this minus 214748368. If you try to store 49, again what have to happen, again your number have to fall back to this the largest, the positive number. Okay, it will go back to the maximum range, fall back to the maximum range. So let us just save this document and just try whether that is happening. Okay, yes, you're able to see here it falls back to the maximum range limit. Okay, so what is happening here? Overflow is happening here. Okay, overflow is happening. How the overflow is taking place? If you are trying to store a value which is more than, see, if you're trying to store a larger value, that is you have min integer value and max integer value. If you're trying to store a number which is more than your max integer value, then your number will fall back to your minimum integer value. If you try to reduce your value from your minimum integer value, then you fall back to your maximum integer value. So it is a cyclic process. Okay, it is a cyclic process. So this system is what called as overflow. This is what generally termed as overflow. When you are trying to store a number which is more than the memory that which is more than the limit, then automatically this overflow will take place. Okay, fine. And there is one more extra feature here out in integer actually. For example, let me have an integer value called as my test variable. Okay, my test var, which is equal to, suppose if I want to specify this variable called as 214748368. What I can do is 2 underscore 147 underscore 483 underscore, okay, 647. Okay, I can just probably declare the variable like this also, initialize the value number like integer number like this also, to just for this is for just the understanding purpose, because for making formatting the number. Okay, so 3 digits, then again 3 digits we are segregating 3 digits, and all the final numbers are separately segregated. For the better readability purpose, we can also introduce this underscore symbol to differentiate the group the numbers 333 numbers. Okay, you usually know how you place comma, right? So you place comma from the last place, you will place comma for every 3 numbers, you have to place a comma. So the same process you can also use here for just for the readability purpose. You can use this formatting of numbers. Okay, so we'll also check whether this is also is going to be printed. Okay, so I'm going to just introduce you to system dot out dot print ln of we are going to just simply we will just print that my test variable. Okay, so my test var. Okay, so remember that before using that variable, particular variable, that is okay. Wait 1 minute, I can just show you that. If you are not if you are declaring a variable, initializing it, and if you are not using that variable, automatically that variable is like shown as an error actually, because unused variables are like extra memory, right? Wastage of memory. So automatically this editor is just finding that this variable is declared but not it is just declared but it is not used anywhere. Okay, so fine. So my test variable, okay, so which we are printing it now, and we will check whether it is printing in which format, in the same format that we are defining, or either in the normal format. That we will just check now. Okay, fine. So let me run this down. Okay, you're able to see that it is in the normal format. So for your readability purpose only, we are introducing this formatting, not for the background purpose. In the background, it will be stored as a normal number. Okay, fine. So what are all the things that we have seen so far in this video? We started with the naming convention of variables, and then here first of all we have a great list, we have a long list of primitive data types like integer, boolean, byte, char, short, long, float, double. The very first primitive data type is called as integer, that is int. Okay, so we started with this integer data type, and we saw how to define how to declare an integer variable, and how to initialize an integer value to the variable. Okay, and now what we have seen is we also have seen the minimum value and the maximum value. Okay, we also saw the minimum value and the maximum value of integers, and also we saw that we saw the minimum ranges is -214748368, and the maximum value is 214748367. It's a long number. Okay, right? So using that range, we found that it is going to take 32 bits actually. So it requires 32 bits to be stored maximum. I mean, it needs at least 32 bits to be stored, that large value. So based on that, we found that integer is going to occupy 4 bytes. Okay, and also we have also seen about a concept called as overflow, where if you are trying to store the number which exceeds your maximum limit, or which is going to be lesser than the minimum limit, automatically this overflow concept will take place. And also for the better readability purpose, we have introduced a formatting option for integer by introducing this underscore symbols. Okay, right guys, so this is it for this integer. So hereafter we will come with arithmetic operations, all those stuffs in the later section, but this is it for this integer section. I think these are the required things that you should know about integer, that is the minimum value, maximum value, the amount of memory that can be, that will be occupied by an integer variable, and also the concept of overflow. If you try to store something out of your limit, then what is going to happen? So all these things have been clearly conveyed in this particular section. Okay guys, right.